So you want to learn how to lay bricks fast? Well, you've come to the right place, because in today's video I'm going to teach you a method that could improve your bricklaying speed by up to as much as 40%. 40% is a big number. But before we get into that, I just want to say that YouTube is showing me that 80% of my viewers aren't subscribed. So if you do like the videos that I make, please do go down below, subscribe, because we've got a whole load of great videos coming up. And let's see if we can get the Brick Army to over 50,000 subscribers by the new year. There's the challenge, so go down below, subscribe away. With that being said, let's get straight into this video. So the technique I'm going to teach you today is known as the pick and dip method. I have made a video about this before, I'll leave it linked in the description, and I may reference it later on in this video as well for technical reasons, as in where I got the 40% from. So what we're going to do is I have already built up 2 rack backs here. Now I'm not going to go into detail about how to build these, we're just going to be talking about running in, and I'll give reasons why I'm just going to be talking about running in as we go along. But if you want to learn how to do rack backs, build corners, lay to a line, anything like that, then there will be a link in the description to the Bricklaying for Beginners playlist where you can find anything and everything there is to learn about bricklaying. So yeah, with that being said, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get some lines set up here, change the angle, and I'm going to teach you exactly how the pick and dip method works. As we see here, like I said, 2 corners rack back, we've got string lines set up here. I'm not going to go into too much detail about the whole how to build corners, how to lay to the line, etc. Like I said, Bricklaying for Beginners playlist down in the description. These first 2 bricks I'm going to do pick and dip, just for those of you who don't know what pick and dip is, to show you what it is. The next course I'm going to do traditional, just to show those of you who are unfamiliar about how traditional works. So I'm just going to give you pretty much guidelines for those bottom 2 courses. Then the next course up, we are going to do pick and dip all the way through, and I'm going to explain a lot more about it. And then again, traditional up about it, and just talk about the pros and cons of each on these 2 courses, and then finish off probably with just a bit of time lapse with some pick and dip. Okay, so first off, I'm using a 10.5 inch Philadelphia pattern Marshalltown trowel. There will be a link down below to my Amazon store where you can check out all the tools that I use. One of the pros of, I'll lay these 2 bricks in first in pick and dip method, then we'll talk about it. So the idea of pick and dip method is every time you pick up a brick, you pick up a trowel full of muck and plop that in just like so. And from then is you drag muck up to fill that joint, and then you push down. That is the pick and dip method right there. So that's how you put 1 brick in. So the idea of the pick and dip is every time you go to your board, you pick up a trowel full of muck and a brick at the same time. Just plonk it in. You don't have to furrow it or anything like that. I suppose you could do it that way. Just butter up one end and then you go in from there. So that is essentially pick and dip method like there, but doing it in 2 bricks is probably not the best place to do it, but you get the general gist of it. Once we come up, I'll explain a lot more about it and how it works. So there's 1 course. Now the next course, we're going to go up. I'll do this one in traditional, so that you sort of have reference, so we're all on the same page, we all know exactly what's going on. In traditional, you get a trowel full of muck, and you generally put the whole bed along in one go, like so, and then you furrow it. That is the traditional way, and then you come along, trim those edges off, like so, and then you come to your pile of bricks, you pick up 1 brick that you like the look of, and you get some mortar on your trowel, flick it, you do what is known as buttering up your brick, like so, and then you put that brick in much the same way with the pick and dip. You tap it down, get it in line with the line from there. So what I'll do is I'll just go through the rest of this course here. So you go to your stack of bricks, pick up a brick, again, butter it up like I just showed you, pop that in, in line with that line, and there you go. I apologise if some of these bricks are a little bit tatty. I do reuse the bricks for different videos and different builds that I do on this channel, so they're not always perfect looking. but I think we can make them look as nice as possible. Right, so there is traditional and there is pick and dip, pretty much in a nutshell. Hopefully giving you a visual reference point. So the next course we go, I'm going to talk in depth about how pick and dip works. I'm also going to switch between this view and sort of the spot board and sort of how things work. So let's move the line up and get going. Right, so when it comes to pick and dip, there are a few bonuses. One, the size of your trowel. In this case, I'm using a 10.5-inch Philadelphia pattern trowel, but for pick and dip, probably the most ideal size would be a 10-inch London pattern trowel. Now, I know this is a bit of a fancy looking trowel. This is actually a ceremonial trowel, but it's the only London pattern trowel that I have. So this is the pattern that we're looking at. I did actually do a video about this trowel, so link in the description. You can see that the size difference is quite noticeable. There's less of a heel at the bottom here. But the reason using a smaller trowel is better, let me just put that out of the way so I don't get that dirty. The reason you use a smaller trowel is better because from here, you've just put your line up, you're ready to go. You don't need a massive amount on your trowel. Like a lot of people, when laying the traditional way, would get a lot on your trowel and you could, I'm not going to do it because it's going to ruin the pick and dip. You drag it along so you get a long amount on the bed. Now, whereas with pick and dip, you just need enough to lay one brick and the perp. So when you go over to pick your muck up off your board like so, you also pick up a brick. That one's got a chip out of it. You also pick up a brick. So you're doing two at the same time. Then you come over to your wall, put that in the center of the wall, the center of the center of the wall. And then from here, at a 45-degree angle, say like so, you come in, almost scoop a bunch up and then press down. Now the reason you come in at a 45-degree like so is so that when you press that muck down, it comes out the front and it doesn't come out the back. Scrape off and there you go. You're good. So I'm gonna keep going. Pick your muck up, pick your brick up. 45 degrees, drag that up. That's a much nicer, fuller bed. Perp, sorry. But the bed is a little bit shy. So pick up the muck, pick up the brick, slap it in, 45 degrees, drag it in. Oh no, there's a stone in that. When you knock your muck up, make sure you don't have stones in your muck. As you press it down, you roll that muck forward so it comes out the front rather than out the back. Obviously you will get a little bit coming out the back because that's pretty normal. You get that no matter which technique you use. You always catch snots off the back. And then you use that, butter up one side of it, drag some of that up, and then that's you laying another one, pick and dip. So it's pretty much self-explanatory. It does exactly what it says on the tin. You pick a brick up, you dip it in the muck, and that's it, pick and dip. So I'm going to go through, the next course is going to be traditional, and I'm going to explain what sort of the differences in why pick and dip is faster. So first off, I'm not picking a brick up, I'm just getting muck. So you've stepped away from the wall once, and I'm going to step away from the wall again just to get muck. I'm going to step away again just to get muck. Away again just to get muck. So you've done that, you've laid all that muck, and now the time it's taken me to do that, that's what, 4 times I've done that, and I've furrowed it. You shave off everything that you need to shave off. That takes time up there straight away. And now I do the entire process all over again by picking up the bricks, and then extra time where you have to butter the bricks up and then put them in. So the way that I see it is that 40%, a bit later on I'll explain to you how I came to 40%. But that 40% is pretty much you doing twice the amount of work that you need to do. You're basically doing everything twice, doing it the traditional way. Now, I'm not saying the traditional is a bad way. Because I've been laying bricks for about 18 years, I have done the traditional way up until this year. I'm a lot more comfortable doing it the traditional way because it's the way I've learned, it's the way I know how. But I'm still 40% faster doing pick and dip, which is something that I've only been doing this year, 2020. I only learned it at the beginning of the year and I'm already 40% quicker. So if you learn, I say you need to learn both ways of doing it. The reason you need to learn how to do the traditional way is if you're building piers or anything that is sort of precision work. The way that pick and dip works is you have to drag the muck back. So if you're building piers, you're going to knock the piers back or anything precise. I personally prefer doing traditional just because I'm much better at traditional. However, when it comes to long flanks, if you're building just a box house, if you're on site, you're building a garden wall, anything like that, I highly advise pick and dip purely because it's so much quicker, you're going to make more money. If you think about it, we'll do the maths later, if you're 40% faster building a wall, you're laying 40% more bricks. I worked it out off camera before doing this, that you're essentially in a working week, the amount of bricks you put down, you're pretty much getting a day for free. The amount you put down Monday to Friday, it's like you don't even have to go in and work Saturday because you've laid enough bricks for Saturday at the same time during the week. Hopefully that makes sense. We'll talk about that a little bit later. I'll get the calculator out and explain where I got all these figures from. So that again is traditional. Now the next two, I'm just going to do pick and dip, hopefully get a few different angles so you can see. I'll do some close-ups so you can see that 45 and how you drag the mortar up. And as there was a little gap in this front one here, and there is a little gap here. I'm not by any means perfect at pick and dip method, but that comes with practice. But 40% faster, you may have to just, the more you practice, the less chances of getting gaps you're going to get. It's just practice. Anyway, so the next two courses, I'm going to do some various different angles and talk you through a little bit more about it, and hopefully get that 40% additional bricks laid. Money, money, money. Bricks laid, wages paid. I think that is the catchphrase of the channel. So that's what it's all about. Right, I'm going to bring you in closer and we'll get some close-ups. Right, so hopefully this is going to be a good angle. So mortar in like so. You don't furrow it, you don't tap it. Is that a stone? No. And you take your brick. Now with your brick, you drag it down. Everything in bricklaying seems to be 45 degrees, but you drag it down and ever so slightly at that edge, you pull forward, lift it up, get that perp in perfectly, and then you set the brick at this sort of angle. Now on the other side, there is a little bit of excess, but like I said, that happens. And then as you push down, everything comes out the front. The more you tap it down, all that muck comes out the front. A tiny little bit coming out the back, but most of it comes out the front. And that perp is much better because it's full. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you over and have a top-down view this time, show you from the different angle. Right, so from this angle, you muck on your trowel, that's it. If there is any excess on the front, obviously you drag it off. You don't want any muck creeping down your front and staining your brickwork. So from here, hopefully my arm is not in the way, you just drag that muck up, press it down in. On the back side, you can probably see there is a little bit of mortar there. I'm trying to do this without knocking that tripod. And then tap it down. That's the amount of muck that came off the front. Nothing off the back. So I know some people have said that pick and dip method, you end up throwing all your muck down the cavity, but there's just such a little amount. You're able to go in behind it as you would do normally laying bricks. Just give it a quick clean off. That's pretty standard. There's just a tiny little gap here. But as I said earlier, when you come through the top course and you plonk that down, that will fill that gap up. And I also find that with the pick and dip method, it's a lot easier to get skinnier perps and skinnier joints. I like a slimmer joint. I think they just look a lot nicer. I'd rather see more brick than more joint. So that's the top view. Hopefully I'll try and get another view as well, maybe from the back side, so we can see exactly how much muck comes out this one. So we'll try the back side next. just go through a few different views on this course and hopefully teach you exactly how pick and dip works. Right, so from this backside view, muck in like so. Again, if you need, there isn't any here, but if you need to clean up any bit of muck as you would do normally, then this is the time you do it. Pop over here. Oh, I'll tell you what, I just made a fail there straight away. I was supposed to have a brick in my hand. So again, pick and dip, the whole reason is you come over, get your muck and your brick at the same time. I obviously forgot to. So from this angle, let's see how much muck comes out the back. Again, how I'm holding the brick is like so. You just come in at that angle, drag it through, get that perp, and then at that 45-degree angle, have a look. Like you see, there is muck on that perp. That is pretty much, I feel like that's going to happen most times. Then you press it down. How much has come out the back? Not a lot. I'll scrape the front. That's how much has come out the front. Hardly anything out the back, and then just another little tap just to make sure that is in the right place. More off the front, and then there's that tiny little bit off the back. A nice full perp. You can, as it obviously came out the back, and yeah, we're looking good on that side there. So what I'll do is I'll bring you down the front and go again. So I'll go ahead and put these 2 bricks in here. As with most aspects of brickwork, there's a little bit missing there. As all aspects of the brickwork, practice is key. The more you practice something, the better you're going to get at it. I don't think I've ever heard someone say the more you practice something, the worse you get at it. Wise words from Rodian. So that again is the method there, and those last 2 bricks I'll do exactly the same way. Nice and simple, very easy. There was probably a little bit not enough muck on that one. Oh, it's a skinny bed. I think I'll put that one down too much. But it looks nice though. Yeah, just slight not enough muck. There's a little bit of a gap there. That last brick goes in there. Little smudge. A little bit tight. Hardly any mortar on the back. And that there is the pick and dip. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through this last course. I'm just going to lay the last course in one go. And then we'll come back and I'll show you the finished result. As bricklayers, we walk up and down all day long. Using the pick and dip method, you're pretty much halving the amount you have to walk. The last thing you want to do is be carrying boots around as too much. If you can get away with walking less, then I mean, I'm all for it. It saves your wrist and your elbow, in my opinion, because you're using a smaller trowel. Like I said, this is not the most ideal trowel for it. You'd want a smaller London pattern like I did show you. I'd say that one is ideal, a 10-inch London pattern trowel. There'll be a link in the description to one that I recommend if you are interested. And if you're laying more bricks per week than you would do with the traditional method, I don't understand why you wouldn't do it. For what reason? I know, get down in the comments. Let me know your opinions of this. Do you think that people shouldn't do this? If so, give reasons why. If you like this, then go for it. If you are a pick and dip layer, then let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear everyone's opinions on it. If you don't like it, tell me why you don't like it. I'll be very interested to hear. But in my opinion, it comes down to, what are you doing bricklaying for? It's a job. You're doing it to make money. That's the whole point. A lot of us do it for the fun of it. Like, I enjoy laying bricks, hence why I wouldn't do this channel if I didn't enjoy it. But when it comes down to brass tacks, I don't know why I said that with a funny accent. When it comes down to it, it's all about money. And if you are going to make more money by doing it with this particular method, why would you not do it? It just makes no sense. If I had known about pick and dip method years ago, I would have adopted it years ago. And, well, I probably would have made more money. But I know for a fact there are some jobs that I have done that I would have done in half the time. I'm going to be one brick worth of muck short here, aren't I? I might be able to scrape some out of the wheelbarrow. It's always the way. There's always one trowel full short, one shovel full short. It's always the way, isn't it? So yeah, let me know down in the comments, what are your opinions about pick and dip? How do you use it, or why don't you use it? It'll be very interesting to hear. Let me just give this wheelbarrow a quick scrape out and see if I can drag up enough for one brick. How am I going to lay a brick with that? Right, let's give it a go. I might actually have to. Oh, this muck is well stiff, this bit. Anyway, as I try and struggle to put this brick in, yeah, comments down below. I'm looking forward to these comments. People saying that it's not what they use, it is what they use. I really, really do want to see what everyone's opinion of it is. Because like I say, when it comes down to it, it's all about the money, really, isn't it? We're in it for the money. It's a job. If a racing car driver was said, oh, if you do it this particular way, you're going to be a second quicker than everyone else, they're going to do it. Why would they not do it? Anyway, I know some people just, I don't want to say stuck in their ways, but they like their particular method and they don't really want to learn a new method. Fair enough. I get it. I understand. But I think everyone should at least give it a try. Now, I know some people would say, why don't the brickies do it in like this? I think it's the Spec Mix 500 or whatever it's called, the Bricklaying World Championships. Why don't they use pick and dip? I don't know. Why don't they use it? That is an interesting question that I would like answering. But there we go, pick and dip. Now I'm going to rub this up and we'll come back and I'll talk to you about where I got this 40% from and a few other bits and pieces. A few of you might already be down in the comments saying, Rodian, where did you get this 40% from? How is this 40% faster? I've worked it out, so let's go into the technical side of this. So for reference, I'm going to use a video that I did before where I compared the speed of traditional method against pick and dip method. I'll link it below, but I'll also probably have a screenshot on the screen somewhere because I'm using figures from that. Okay, so traditional method, I built the particular wall in question in 11 minutes, 54 seconds. Pick and dip, 8 minutes, 28 seconds. Now I converted those minutes into seconds. So traditional, 714 seconds. Pick and dip, 508 seconds. Now, if you work out the difference between the two, which is 206 seconds, and then you do a quick bit of maths. So 206 divided by 508, which is the pick and dip method, times 100 will give you 40.5512. So technically it's 41% quicker, but that'll give you the percentage of how much quicker pick and dip is. There you go, 40.5%, but round it down to 40%. Now, if we talk in sort of bricks laid per day, if we take, say, we could spend an entire video talking about how many bricks you can lay a day, but hypothetically, for the sake of this experiment, say a bricklayer can lay 500 bricks a day. I know we're going to get comments of people saying you can lay more or less, whatever, but for the sake of the argument, 500 bricks per day. So if you take, 500 bricks a day, so per week, a bricklayer would lay 2,500 bricks. Now, if, say, you had the pick and dipper who came in, who was 40% on average faster, that is, and 40% of 500 bricks is 200, so that's an additional 200 bricks per day. So if you look at that, 200 plus 500, so a pick and dipper would be laying 700 bricks a day. Now, if we go back to the per week, so a traditional bricklayer would be laying 2,500 bricks per week. A pick and dipper, assuming that they can lay 40% more on average throughout the week, they would be laying 3,500 bricks. Now, if you look at it even more simpler than that, that's 2 days more work than traditional per week. So yeah, per week, imagine you are a traditional bricklayer and you are working 7 days a week because you want to get that bread in, you want to make that money, you want to get the job done more quickly. You are sacrificing your Saturday and your Sunday with your family, with your friends, having a bit of downtime, relaxing. If you're doing pick and dip, you're doing 7 days worth of work in 5 days. You can have your weekends, you can spend time with your family, you can go and see your mates, or you can go super hardcore and work 7 days a week, and then you will be adding an extra 2 more days on. So the figures show that it's just a win-win. In my opinion, it's a win-win. Like I was saying earlier, let me know down in the comments your opinions, but from what I'm showing is you're looking at an extra 2 days a week, laid bricks are down. Like I said, it's obviously practice. It's going to take a little bit of a while for you to warm up. I've been only laying bricks, pick and dip since sort of this year. There are a few little bits and pieces that I need to improve on, which is why I do it as often as I can. I try and do as much pick and dip as I can so I can get better at it, so you can lay bricks faster, especially if you're a site worker, if you are laying bricks on site, big houses, building estates. Seriously think about it. If you don't already do pick and dip, seriously think about it. The only things that I would say, in my personal opinion, I would not use pick and dip for, I wouldn't build corners out of pick and dip, because as I was saying, as you push the bricks back, there's more chance of you pushing back the work you've already done. So either use profiles or build the corners traditional. And also things like herringbone panels or piers, I wouldn't suggest using pick and dip, just because with herringbone panels it's more precise work. You need to be a little bit more precise, and you perhaps need muck in a particular place, whereas with pick and dip it might not work. It might work for you. For me, I've tried it. It's not something that I'm going to spend too much time investing in. However, when it comes to just straight flanks, mate, pick and dip all day long. I wish I was taught this at a younger age. I don't know how long it's been around for. From my small amount of research that I've done, I believe it was the Dutch who started using it. Again, down in the comments, correct me if I'm wrong, please. If anyone does know how long it's been around, and again, please do let me know. It's probably been around for as long as bricklaying has, but it hasn't come to my attention until this year. Hi, this is Rodian from the future. I completely forgot to say while I was filming the video that you should go and check out Charlie Collison's channel. He's a pick and dipper, and his pick and dip method and the way he's done it is a lot better than mine. He's been doing it a lot longer than I have. Like I said, I've only been doing it this year. Go and check out his channel. I'll leave links down in the description. So yeah, go and see what he's up to and see how a pro really does it. If you're interested in learning how to lay bricks in more detail, then click this playlist here, the Bricklaying for Beginners. If you want to watch me build a complete 3-bedroom house by myself, then click this playlist here. With that being said, I will see you all in the next episode, so take care. See you then. Ta-ra.